My name is Ivana Milojevic, and I was born in 1967 in Yugoslavia, country that, as you will be aware, disintegrated through war and violence. I'm myself of mixed ethnic origin, and I was absolutely outraged to witness what my people Now, obviously this is my context, and I do believe that many of the decisions are made to promote war violence and continuation of the use of nuclear weapons, because so many people are removed of the context of what means to be on the ground and to actually first-hand experience the effects of weapons and violence. Now, I'm obviously a survivor sitting here, and what I would like to see for people, anybody who is in charge of making some decisions, to actually go through a process of imagining what it means not to survive, but to be a victim of something that is so outrageous, such as war. We still haven't made people who killed so many innocents during Second World War with the use of nuclear weapons, we still haven't made those people and those governments accountable. And I think that is absolutely unacceptable for our time and our era. So it is only when you are removed from that context, when you first-hand experience the fallout of wars and violence, any type of war and violence, but specifically we are talking here about nuclear weapons, that you can perceive war as something that is legitimate, that is justifiable, that becomes something abstract. It's not quite real, it happens somewhere else, so it's okay. And then it becomes like an acceptable means to achieve certain political goals that are often usually quite abstract as well. So what I would like to see is a process of emotional literacy, of actually people not just intellectually understanding what it means to be on the receiving side, but to try to go through a process where they engage with their emotions and to envision how would it feel to be on the receiving end, on the other side. I would personally love for my children, who are now 11 and 13, to, when they are my age, to live in a world without weapons, in a world without nuclear weapons. Now, I think for all of us that are activists and theorists in this area, it's really important to understand what are some of the main causes of violence and wars and the use of nuclear weapons specifically. So I think it's also important for us to get away with certain discourses that are still informing people who are making decisions, such as that violence is in human nature, for example. We know that those discourses are not based on empirical reality. We know that there are certain worldviews, that are certain ideologies that are absolutely not accurate. If we look at the violence the way it's conducted, especially physical violence, we can see that if anything, it's related to gender issues, and it's related to how we practice masculinities. Now, having said that, we also all know, based on empirical reality, that not all men are violent. So even that generalization we can't make. So then, if it's not human nature, and if it's not maleness, what is it? In my view, the main cause that the nuclear weapons are still going and the weapons are still being produced and that the so-called developed nations are producing and profiting and benefiting from them is due to a certain view is very strongly linked to patriarchy. It's informed by patriarchy, it's informed by nationalism, it's informed by racism, xenophobia, and it's informed also by anthropocentrism. Now, when French government dropped nuclear bomb in the Pacific, I haven't heard in media a question being asked what happens to other living beings at that particular moment. Not only are people in the Pacific lesser people, so the use of nuclear weapons is justifiable there. No question was asked by hardly anybody, really, what happens to other species. In different era has to change. It needs to be, as we know, more ecological, more balanced, more harmonious. So if we are moving in that direction, we have to get rid of these old worldviews, and I think this is an absolutely crucial task.